Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. We got the conference finals this weekend, and I've got a video. We got a first look. We're going to talk to you about the two-game slate on DraftKings. The Chiefs against the Ravens, and the Lions travel to San Francisco against the 49ers. Has any quarterback run hotter on schedule than Jared Goff? 2 games at home in a dome, and then he gets to come out west in the good weather against the 49ers. Jared Goff has run better than anybody. He must have done something right, living pure, I suppose. We're going to go take a look at a first look. We're going to go build 150 lineups over on Fantasy Labs, and we're going to go build a pick'em card over on Underdog Fantasy. So thank you guys for being here for all of it. Make sure that you join our Discord and become a service subscriber over there for $5 a month. You get the weekly PGA cheat sheet that comes out every single Wednesday, except this week it came out on Tuesday because lineups lock for PGA on Wednesday this week, but typically it's a Wednesday thing with PGA locking on Thursday. You get access to all the VIP channels in the Discord where you can discuss any single DFS sport with all of our members that are in there in the Discord to help you become a better player every single day. Have somebody to talk to, as DFS can be an isolating sport. Have a community to talk about it with people who are trying to get better every single day. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
Talked about Fantasy Labs before. It is a paid site. You can go get the fine products that they have over there at smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. The 6-month package is the best value that they have at the site. It gives you access to their lineup builder and projections for every sport that's active. It's an all sports package for 6 months. This is their Vegas page. You can go over here to NFL and go down here to Vegas. It's a free page. If you don't have a sub, you can check it out for every single sport that they have. It gives you the lines, it gives you the totals, the team totals, and everything. So right now we have the Ravens favored by 3.5 over the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the 49ers favored by 7 over the Lions. Team total 29 for the 49ers, 22 for the Lions, 24 for the Ravens over the Chiefs at 20.5. Hopefully Jason Kelce can keep his shirt on this weekend. Let's take a look at let's go game by game and team by team here. Obviously Patrick Mahomes, I'd like it if you'd score more than 20 points. That would be good. Please, just more than 20 points. But even though he only had 18.5, he does have a tight end who can do some things. With only 6 targets, caught 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, 24.5 points last weekend against Buffalo in the cold weather out there in Western New York. At wide receiver, Rashee Rice, 4 for 4, 8.7 points at wide receiver. And at running back, Isaiah Pacheco, 16 opportunities, 97 yards on the ground, including a touchdown, 18.1 points for him. Not very much else to feast on because, as we said about Mahomes, they really only threw it 23 times, 17 completions, not a lot of meat on the bone, and not a lot of guys that can really get open. MVS, the king of cardio, did catch a couple of important balls, a 30-yard catch and a 32-yard catch. 4 targets for him. A lot of work for the king of cardio. Did catch 2 balls. Fantastic for him. Justin Watson, 1 target there. Mecole Hardman fumbled out of the end zone. No. Kadarius Toney, it was the big joke on Twitter was Kadarius Toney was out for the game. Which was a big blow to the Buffalo Bills, but pay no mind to that. They gave the ball to Mecole Hardman, who fumbled away everything. And Richie James not going to do it. It's not a lot. There's just not a lot to go to. They will use somebody like Noah Gray a little bit, 3 targets for him, but really it's Rice, it's Pacheco, and it's Kelce. On the other side, we do have news that Mark Andrews, they might get him back from injured reserve. Finally, if he plays, then that's going to ding somebody like Isaiah Likely, who had kind of a Neo moment on the touchdown that he caught against Houston, a twisting, turning backwards, like the smoothest back spinning touchdown on a ball that was thrown behind him. The game is slowing down for Isaiah Likely. He's only 4,300. If Andrews plays, he's going to get dinged just a little bit. But at wide receiver, it's basically Zay Flowers. They're not really utilizing their wide receivers in the passing game as much as they could or have in the past because they just don't have all that much. Nelson Aguilar, 4 targets for him. everybody's being used kind of sparingly. 3 targets for Rashad Bateman. He's only 3,600, so at least he presents a little bit of value. And they're splitting the running work between the 3-headed monster of Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, who had 15 opportunities last week. Dalvin Cook getting a few carries as well. But realistically, it's the Lamar Jackson show. 11 opportunities on the ground, 22 opportunities through the air, 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown rushes, 39 points against Houston, 39 points against Miami. Kansas City, a much different defense than both Miami and Houston were. San Francisco kind of on that same level of defense as Kansas City. So yes, they could hold him, but like when the playoffs happen, all bets are off. They are going to do everything that they can to unleash Lamar Jackson with all of his talents to make sure that they win this game. Everything is on the table. The entire playbook is open. 4th downs are more open. The fantastic play that they ran on 4th down to get another 1st down. Lamar Jackson is going to be completely unleashed in this game against Kansas City at home, and Baltimore is operating at peak potential. If you wanted to get after him at 7,700, I fully understand. This game, though, does not have the same total as Detroit and San Francisco, and there's more exploitable spots on the other side. Jared Goff, historically, even though he performed better this year on the road than he has in previous years, there's still that home road splits that he had. 21.8 in home games, 15.4 in road games. He did go 6, or the Lions, because wins are not a quarterback stat, they did go 6-2 in road games. He did perform better on the road. Half of his road games were in domes though this year. His struggles have come in weather. His struggles have come historically against pressure. His struggles have come in bad weather. And outside games, outdoor games. So not going to have weather this weekend in San Francisco. It's going to be a mid 60s, high 60s game, no rain. It's going to be good weather. He could not have run any more pure. Home dome, California, high 60s with no rain. So he is going to face San Francisco's defense, but Detroit's offensive line has done a fantastic job keeping his uniform clean. Now, if he can complete passes against this defense, it's going to go to the usual suspects. One being Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has certainly taken a massive leap this season. 11 touchdowns, 21.7 against Tampa Bay, 21 points against the Rams, 30 points against Minnesota. Unstoppable from a DraftKings scoring perspective. At 7,900, I don't know that we're going to be able to get to him. I'm not going to get to him with the lineup that I'm going to build right now for this game that we're going to be playing this week. And then you've got some value at wide receiver that they're going to have to get to. Now, assuming that they're going to be playing from behind, being 7-point underdogs, you might see some extra opportunities here for players in the passing game. Josh Reynolds with only 3 targets last week, but 7 each of the previous 2. We've got Jamison Williams, 4 targets last week. You also have big playability out of him with 3,700, as opposed to somebody like Rashad Bateman, who may not have that same sort of game-breaking possibility with the amount of snaps that he's going to play. Probably 40 snaps of the 65 to 70 plays that they could get at tight end. Sam Laporta, 11 targets for him, and we know how they utilize him once they get inside the red zone. 11 touchdowns on the year, massive potential there. And I do think that you can open up 2 tight ends with the way that the salaries are on this slate. And at running back, you're going to get split time. Jahmyr Gibbs has scored an awful lot of touchdowns from outside the 10-yard line, 13 touchdowns, and David Montgomery, the preferred goal line back for this team. Both are splitting snaps. Both are splitting work. Jahmyr Gibbs has been electric. 14 touchdowns, though, for Dave Montgomery, most of them coming on short yardage work. Jahmyr Gibbs scoring an unruly amount of touchdowns from deep. And then we look at San Francisco. The elephant in the room is Deebo Samuel and his shoulder injury. If he plays, it changes a lot. If he doesn't play, it changes a lot. We don't know what's going to happen, so set up your if-then statements. San Francisco's offense runs completely differently when Deebo Samuel's on the field, which is to say that they are a better offense when Deebo Samuel's on the field. When he is out, they don't operate the same way. They don't operate anywhere near as efficiently, because having those 2 weapons of Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel makes them a much better team. Having just Christian McCaffrey, they are still a good team, but going to Juwan Jennings and Ray does not give them anywhere near the complexity that they have when they have both weapons on the field, and you cannot stop and game plan for both. So assuming that Debo does not play, we'll operate under those assumptions. One, Brandon Ayuk is going to do what Brandon Ayuk does, and if Debo is out, he will see more targets. More of the offense will flow to him and through him. I will hope that if Debo doesn't play, we will see more things flow to and through George Kittle than they did in the second half of last week's game. I did not think San Francisco did enough work getting the ball to George Kittle when they knew that Debo was not going to come out in the second half. Not enough plays were designed to go to or through George Kittle when they knew that their number one or number two option in the passing game was not going to be there. They did not script or game plan enough to go through George Kittle in the second half and almost burn them in that game. They did survive, though. Congratulations to him. On a 2-game slate, it is very possible that Christian McCaffrey is going to be a must play in this situation. We can get to him. Now, the question is going to be, will he run away from the field? It's very possible that a quarterback could run away. The only one that I think could run away would be Lamar Jackson. We have not seen that out of Patrick Mahomes this year. It is unlikely that Purdy or Goff will run away from the field, which means that the only other player that could run away would be Christian McCaffrey. It is unlikely that Amon-Ra St. Brown will have a 45 to 55 point game. It is unlikely that any other player on the slate will have a 45 to 55 point game. The two runaway players are possibly Lamar Jackson, less likely for a quarterback, or Christian McCaffrey. And the reason that it could be Christian McCaffrey is, on the whole, looking at the running back situation, it's Christian McCaffrey, Pacheco on the road against Baltimore as an underdog, Gibbs and Montgomery splitting time, and the three-headed monster in Baltimore. So positional scarcity at running back versus the fact that the band of quarterback scoring is difficult for quarterbacks to run away, even with the type of game that Lamar Jackson had last week with 2 rushing touchdowns, 100 yards rushing, and 2 passing touchdowns. It's hard for him to separate that far from the other players at the position. I'm going to build you a lineup around Christian McCaffrey, but let's head over to Underdog Fantasy first. If you don't have if you don't have an account over at Underdog Fantasy, go ahead and go get one. Use code ALSMIZZLE, that's ALSMIZZLE, all one word, and get up to $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. They have all these pick'ems that you can build, as well as a great best ball product. You can start drafting for next year's drafts right now. They have great basketball daily stuff. They have great football for this weekend and the Super Bowl. Everything that you would want. Head over to Underdog today and see what you can get done. Here's 2 that we're going to play for this week. Lamar Jackson over 10.5 rushing attempts. I think that they let him go. And Patrick Mahomes throwing for over 2 or more touchdowns. We're going to build this one for $50. Try and win $150. There it is. Get over to Underdog Fantasy today. Use my code. Get up to $100 deposit bonus. Get that money right now. Christian McCaffrey. We're going to build this around Brock Purdy. Why not? Brock Purdy for $6,400 against Detroit. They've been very friendly. We're going to come and try and get the value here for $4,800. I need to find some value so that I can afford him. So I'm going to go with Justice Hill at $4,800. That's a lot of opportunity for only $4,800 against Kansas City. For wide receiver, I need to find value. I mentioned a couple of them. Josh Reynolds at $4,000, and I need a big play guy, so give me Jamison Williams at $3,700. Not a lot of volume, but at least I have the big plays. I'm going to assume that Debo is out. So let's target Brandon Ayuk at $6,900. I'm going to go to tight end. Let's go with Travis Kelce. Let's go with George Kittle here. And that gives me enough money to go with the Baltimore Ravens at $3,200. Heading over to Fantasy Labs, here's where I'm going to start with. You can pause this video if you want. Here's where I'm going to build through for my rules for short slate, and I'm going to make sure that I have at least 2 players that are less than 30%. Apply these settings, click generate, head over to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. Just realize that you're not going to click the green generate button. When it comes down to building your 150 lineups, you have to go through and make sure you have the correlations, make sure you have the allocations, and generating your lineups around what you want and massage them to get the different allocations that you are looking for with your lineups. Make sure that you check out this other video right here so you can check out what I do when I'm building all of my lineups and the rules that I set for Fantasy Labs and using them to optimize lineups on that site. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.